Welcome to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, September 25th. Happy autumn, everybody. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. Before I get going, I want to wish a happy birthday to my dad, Hank Duhamel, whose birthday is today. And I would be remiss if I didn't say happy birthday, Dad. Looking forward to seeing you and Mom tomorrow. Now, thankfully, the weather here in Massachusetts is simply beautiful. It's great fall weather. It's really actually summer weather. It's going to be a great weekend, so it's a good opportunity to get together with family, friends, whomever, parents to celebrate a birthday while we can still get together outside and safely celebrate each other's company. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing this weekend. I'm also very happy to report that we have gone to press with our labor of love here at Mass Retirees. Your November newsletter, The Voice, went to press yesterday. Now, for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar, we publish this entire newsletter in-house. Every word is written by us. We handle all of the logistics. Bill Reary and Nancy Delaney work hand in hand of editing and publishing, and it's really a labor of love, as I said. The only thing we don't do is we don't print it here. We work with a union print shop, Standard Modern, Massachusetts-based, family-owned. They're located down in southeastern Mass. They do a fantastic job for us, so we can't thank them enough. But we put together this product 6 times a year. It's a bi-monthly newsletter. So 6 20-page editions come to you. And if you've never noticed, we don't provide any kind of advertising at all in the newsletter. We try to keep it pure. This is something that was very important to our founders and to Ralph White. So for the last 52 years, we've never printed any advertising in the newsletter. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't from time to time report on initiatives that we're involved in or partnerships or companies that we're working with, such as the IBIS program. You'll find information about IBIS in this newsletter. So we're certainly going to talk about those sorts of things. But what we're not going to do is try to sell you products or load this up with just a bunch of advertising. We don't want to be in the business of publishing an ad book, and I hope for you as a member, that's not what you're looking for either. So what we try to do is every edition of the newsletter is provide factual, cutting-edge, breaking news about your health insurance, your pension, your Social Security, really anything that's related to your retirement. Now, a lot of the information that you'll find in our newsletter really honestly can't be found anyplace else. We're the only ones really focused on these things. So that's why we've become an expert resource when it comes to public retirement, and we're very proud of that. So I certainly hope that you enjoy receiving the newsletter. I hope you enjoy reading it, that you get something out of it, that you learn something, maybe find it enjoyable. We try to mix it up with a variety of different topics. But if you have suggestions or ideas or things that you think that we could do to improve upon the newsletter, or things that may be missing, or stories that you think that we should cover, as long as they're related to public retirement and not something that's not related that you could find someplace else, reach out to me, send me an email. My email address is Sean, SHAWN, @massretirees.com. Send me your ideas. Our ears are always open. We want input, and we want to make this as special for you as it is for us. So in this edition, in the November edition of The Voice, you're going to find right on the front page an update of what's happening with the state budget. And contained within the state budget, of course, is the state and teacher COLA, which is still delayed. Now, our hope is that the COLA will be included in October as part of the final budget, but things are very much up in the air, and you're going to learn a lot of information about what's going on. And those of you who participated in our annual meeting a week ago, you heard directly from Senate Ways and Means Chairman Mike Rodrigues in terms of the issues that the state's grappling with right now and the difficulties of putting together a budget in the middle of a COVID-19 pandemic and the economic collapse that's resulted from the pandemic. And you also heard that report from House Republican leader Brad Jones. And I can't thank both legislators enough for participating in our town hall meeting last week. And for those of you who did participate, thank you so much. It means the world to us to have you guys engaged and staying on the line for as long as you did. That meeting lasted nearly 2 hours, and we still had at the end several hundred members on the line engaged with us. Out of a total of about 2,400 people participated at some point over the 2-hour period. So again, thank you. You're what makes this association so special. But in terms of the newsletter, in addition to an update on the budget and the COLA, we also have new information for you in terms of the Social Security windfall elimination provision reform. And there's a special message in this newsletter from Congressman Richie Neal, who's very appreciative of the support that you gave him in his reelection, so thank you for that. But he also updates our members in terms of what his focus is on trying to move this issue forward and pass into law HR 4540 and get that done this year in 2020. That remains the goal, that remains the hope. I know that there's a million other things going on out there right now. The election and everything that's going on with the election, and of course COVID-19, and how we're trying to get this situation under control. But Congressman Neal and the folks that we're working with have not lost sight of the need for WEP reform, and we're doing everything we can as an association to assist him continue to build our national network and move this forward. So look on the front page of the newsletter for that. But we also have a full legislative update for you, including breaking news in terms of the basic life insurance benefit. We also have full coverage of what's happening at the local level. That we know that tens of thousands of our members receive health insurance benefits from cities and towns across Massachusetts. So what's happening at the local level is, of course, extremely important to us. So again, if you hear of something happening in your local community relative to retiree pensions or health care, reach out, let us know. Oftentimes we get tipped off from our members at the local level, so then we can get involved and help out and be there to support our local retirees for these very, very critical benefits. So again, it's 20 pages of a whole bunch of different information. I hope you enjoy it. Another big part of this newsletter is, of course, information relative to the upcoming general election in November. And that's one of the reasons why we went to press a little bit early, is to get this information into your hands. In addition to offering endorsements for either elected officials seeking re-election to the same office or new candidates running for office the first time, we also have information in here about the voting process. So whether you plan on voting on November 3rd, showing up at the polls and casting your vote like you always have, or participating in early voting at the end of October, again, showing up at the polls, but during the early voting period and casting the ballot during that period of time, or if you're someone who's choosing to vote by mail, we want to make sure we get all of that information to you. Now, in the upcoming next week or two, we'll be providing more information about the elections, about our endorsements, about the process, and so forth and so on. But the one thing I want to leave you with is the process that we use here at Mass Retirees in endorsing someone. And we've said this before, but it's worth repeating. The only criteria that's of any importance to us here at Mass Retirees is whether or not a candidate for elective office supports you as a public retiree. Whether it's your health insurance, whether it's COLAs, whether it's defined benefit pensions or Social Security or Medicare at the federal level, if that candidate supports public retirees, supports our legislation, files bills or signs on to bills that would benefit you, votes to benefit you, and most importantly, makes you as a public retiree a priority, then we're going to be interested in supporting that person. But if they're not doing any of those things, they're not going to gain our support. Now, it doesn't matter if they are a Republican or a Democrat or unenrolled or any other of the millions of issues that exist out there that may be of individual importance to people. We don't take that stuff into consideration. All we focus on is our mission and our goal and our job here at Mass Retirees, which is public retirement. That's what we have expertise in. That's our focus. That's my job. And everyone here at Mass Retirees, that's our job, is to look out for you and fight for you. And these endorsements are simply recommendations. We owe it to you as members, but we also owe it to those legislators who stand with us and support you to let our members know of what their records are. So with that, I'm going to sign off for this week. Thank you once again for your support of Mass Retirees. You can look for the next update next Friday, which, believe it or not, is going to be October 2nd. Hard to believe. But in the meantime, thanks again. Enjoy this wonderful fall weather if you're up here in New England, and most of all, stay safe.